Hi, welcome to the Mastercraft How-to series. In this episode, we're going to put a set of Baja RS seats in this utility, or what we use it for is our chase truck for our off-road race team. So if you're ready, let's get started. In a lot of the past How-to series, you've seen us put some Mastercraft seats and other products into, typical applications that you would see a seat change being done on. So your Jeep Wranglers, Jeeps in general, your Toyotas, your rock crawl and trail vehicles, obviously your race cars and your pre-runners, even the side-by-side, your UTVs, your Rhinos and Razors. So you might be thinking to yourself, why would we take this perfectly new 2010 Ford F-350 and swap a set of seats into it? Well, for us, this vehicle is our chase vehicle, our chase and support vehicle for our off-road race team. And it's very important to have our driver and passengers just as safe and comfortable out there when they're chasing for us and down in Mexico or in the Nevada deserts. They're going down the same gnarly roads as we are. When we need help out there, these vehicles are our support. So the safety side of it, as well as the comfort side, is the reason we're going to swap a set of Mastercraft Baja RS seats into this vehicle. Now, the first step of this process is to go ahead and remove the two seats. There's 2 bolts in the front and there's 2 bolts in the rear on each seat, so 8 bolts total with a 18mm socket or end wrench. We're going to go ahead and take these seats out and then show you how to remove the factory seat from the factory mount. We reuse the factory mount, and with an accessory kit from Mastercraft, the Baja RS seats bolt right back onto the factory mount using the factory slider and everything. So it's a real simple and easy process. This should be a quick one. One other thing we want to point out here before we get started is, maybe in some of the past how-to series, or if you've browsed around our website or taken a look at one of our catalogs, Mastercraft just isn't about having, your outside vinyl, inside fabric type seat. Mastercraft can make a seat for any vehicle, any application as far as the way that it looks. If you have a truck, an SUV, or even a sports car, which we'll get into in a different how-to series, we have leather seats. We have a whole bunch of different options, different than what's on our website. Like here, we have the stock seat that just came out of the Ford, which is kind of your imitation leather, if not vinyl. And we have matched that perfectly with the Mastercraft. We wanted to make sure that the front seats match the back bench because we don't want to change the look of the vehicle. We just want to change the safety and the comfort of the vehicle. Step 2 of the process is, after we've got the seats out of the vehicle, we go ahead and put it up on the table or however you want to work it. So you can kind of see we've got 2 bolts in the front, 2 bolts in the back that we have to remove. Now, the hardware package kit that I mentioned before does not come with the seats. You have to go onto the seat mount page on MasterCraftSafety.com, or if you're calling our 800 number, make sure you mention to our customer service representative that you want the seat install kit for this particular vehicle. So again, what we're going to do first is with a 10mm, you can use a socket on the fronts, but once you pull up the seatbelt slide on the rear, you're going to have to go to an end wrench. So we're going to take these 4 bolts off and get closer to getting this done. Okay, so now that we have the 4 bolts off, you'll see that the slider and seat mount can be removed. And then the last thing we have to do is the seat belt tab, which we didn't show you how to take off on the inside of the cab, but it's just a simple OE connector that you just pull off. But we do need to take this off, run it through the inside of the seat. And obviously we want to keep this with the vehicle so we can make sure that the seatbelt indicator light stays with it. Now that we're ready to go ahead and put the Mastercraft Baja RS seat onto the factory mount, I want to make sure that we make clear that the Baja RS seat, some of the great features on it are the reclining mechanism, to be able to recline the seat forward, recline the seat back to get at your most comfortable position in the vehicle. When you're ordering either online or through our 1-800 numbers, calling our customer service, make sure that you tell them that you want a driver and a passenger, because where the mechanism fits on the vehicle or where it sits is very important. You always want that on your outside. So on the driver's side, we're going to have the mechanism on the left, whereas the passenger side, we're going to have it on the right. Now that we're ready to install, we're going to come over here to the mount. And again, with the install kit that we showed you before, we've got a basic nut and bolt and a spacer. There's going to be a spacer on all four corners. You're going to put the nut and the washer underneath through the bottom. Go ahead and drop your spacer on top. Your seat is then going to sit on top of there, and then you'll go ahead and screw the nut down after that. So as we've done in the past, let's go ahead and get your seat in a good working position and get going. So using a 3/16 Allen wrench as well as a 1/2-inch end wrench, go ahead and snug these down. Don't tighten them all the way, but just get them started. Next, to get to the back bolts, we have to position the slider up to get to the back. The next step after we finish the front up is we're going to go ahead and remove the seat belt mount. Now the seat belt mount uses a T50 Torx bit. And once you're done with that, we're going to go ahead and discard the actual bolt, because in the hardware kit there's a new bolt supplied. And then before you actually start mounting up the factory slider to the seat, we need to go ahead and tuck in the wiring underneath the slider, so then this marries up when you put it back in the vehicle. All right, so using the 1/2-inch end wrench and the 3/16 Allen key, go ahead and now just tighten that one up completely, because we're done with this side, other than putting the seatbelt mount back on. So again, using the supplied bolt, and it uses a 3/4-inch end wrench. Snug that up. Now we're ready to do the other side. So now that we've tightened up the rear, we want to make sure we go back to the front and hit the front bolts up, because we mentioned go ahead and leave them loose. So make sure you tighten both of those up good. All right, we're done with the front seat. And before we show you installing this back into the vehicle, we're going to go ahead and quickly do the passenger seat. Passenger seat is identical to the driver's seat. There's 4 bolts to remove it from the vehicle. There's 4 bolts to remove the stock seat from the stock mount. You put the same spacers on. You remove the seat belt attachment the same way and use the same supplied hardware kit from MasterCraft. So we're going to do that real quick, and then we'll put them both in and show you what it looks like finished up. Okay, so make sure everything is nice and tight. Again, just did a fast forward move on that so you didn't have to watch the whole process, which is exactly the same as the driver's seat. And we're ready to put this guy in. We're not going to show the entire process of putting 4 bolts in each seat and tightening it down, but you do want to make sure when you reinstall the driver's side that you do put the seat belt sensor clip back on. On this particular vehicle, the passenger side doesn't have one. Maybe it's because it's a utility vehicle, contractor's type vehicle. But for basic F-250 and F-350 that are driven on the road today, you probably have that seatbelt sensor clip. So make sure you detach it when you take the seats out and reattach it when you put the seats in. So next, we'll show you it when it's all done and buttoned up. All right, just making sure everything from the stock factory mount still works, as well as making the most comfortable ride possible with our new Baja RSs mounted in our Ford F-350. Nice reclining mechanism, make it so those trail days where we're chasing for the race truck, we're as comfortable and, most importantly, safe as possible. So thanks again for tuning in to the MasterCraft How-To series. See you next time.